Hello, and welcome to In the Spotlight, a chance to get to know the Financial Services Practice Group team here at BerryDunn. I'm Susan Weber.
And I'm Brooke Wells.
Fellow team members and hosts of the series. We're joined today by Kaylyn Landry, Senior Manager here at BerryDunn. Hi, Kaylyn.
Hi, guys. How are you today?
We're great. It's so good to have you here. And to kick us off today, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Excellent. Thanks. Glad to be here today. So as Susan mentioned, I am Kaylyn Landry, a Senior Manager in BerryDunn's Financial Services Practice Group. I've been with the firm now for 13 years. I am technically out of our Manchester, New Hampshire office, but I do primarily work in a remote setting at this point. My focus is usually on financial institution engagements, specifically those that have assets over $1 billion and therefore have to have the FDICIA internal control over financial reporting requirement and an audit of that. And when I'm not working on financial institutions, I do a lot of employee benefit plan audits, such as 401ks and 403bs. And outside of the accounting world, you can find me chasing around my two girls that are 5 and 1. They certainly keep me very busy. And one important thing I'd like to mention is I did start as an intern at the firm. And so therefore that has progressed my career quite well.
Perfect. Thanks for that. Could you share how you got into accounting?
Oh, yeah. So that's very kind of an interesting story in that sense. I knew all along that when I applied to schools that I was going to be going as a business undergrad, just because that kind of gives you the keys and developments, depending on what you decide to move on further. But my original goal was really to do this and then to go on to law school and become a lawyer. But during the first few years as an undergrad at UNH, I did go to a law school and I interned as a paralegal there. And I learned very quickly that was not for me. It did not fit me personality-wise, skill-wise, and all of that. And so based on that, after having some discussions with folks, especially, my uncle really drove this into me, is that accounting is the language of business. And so therefore, once you understand the accounting and what that means to run a business, and if you're able to take classes on that and really get into it and understand it, then that likely means that's what's for you. And so after taking a few intro classes at UNH, I really learned a lot and understood it, the debits and credits and, the journal entries and all of that. And so that's what drove me to continuing an accounting career.
So Kaylyn, talk to me a little bit about why BerryDunn, right? So once you kind of figured out your accounting journey, what led you to BerryDunn?
Yeah, that's a great question. And one that actually I kind of honestly just fell upon. So during UNH, my senior year, they do a lot of great aspects for the accounting students. And one of the events that they offer is a resume review night. And at that night, Sarah Olson, who at the time was the head of our recruiting, was there. And, I got partnered with her and she was reviewing my resume. And, she really liked a lot of the things that were on it and gave me some great feedback. And at the end of our session, she was like, hey, do you mind if I put your resume into our pool of intern candidates? We're going through the process. We have interviews scheduled and an info session coming up. We'd really like you to be a part of that. So went through that process. I went to their info session. I met Rob Smalley, who's actually our practice group leader today. And during that, really just loved the people at BerryDunn and went through the interview process and, interviewed with a few other firms and just felt like BerryDunn's personality fit my personality very well. And so that was the choice that I made from there, and did my internship between my senior year and master's year. After that, was offered a full-time position to start once I graduated with my master's. And here I am.
Sounds like your internship with BerryDunn was a very meaningful experience. Could you expand on what this program looks like today?
Yeah, so being an intern offers a wide variety of interest, and it's a great stepping stone to gain and understand what a life in accounting, especially in the auditing world, is going to be. It's a very quick snippet of it, but it also just helps you identify if this is for you, or if you need to go and try and tax or some other realm of accounting aspect. So being part of the internship really led me to my desire to also be involved in recruiting. And so as part of that, I am part of our firm's recruiting committee and work through all of that aspect in the fall for the Manchester office and the firm wide initiatives as well. And then kind of leads into our internship program. And so in Manchester, we really saw the value in this. And so we wanted to make sure we had some structure around it to be able to provide a well-rounded program for them. And it wasn't just something where folks were coming in, and tasked with going to make sure the copier was working or making sure the coffee, like that is not what we, provide from an internship experience. We treat our interns as full-time staff. They get the same experience that they would in their first few months. So we make sure that there's structure and they're provided with our core competencies that we as, individuals, as employees of the firm have to kind of work towards and continuously develop on, that interns are held to that same standard, provided these set of core competencies, provided feedback on these core competencies. During that, we have some check-ins with them. And we just make sure that they're really just having a really good program with us. And so therefore, at the end of their internship, and we provide them with feedback and a potential offer to come back with us full time, that they're able to make that decision with the experience that they've had with us.
I love knowing that you had a great internship experience that led you to be very passionate about creating a good experience for others. I love that you have had that flexibility and freedom. And recently, we've spent a lot of time lately thinking about some very specific internal controls related to CECL, which is also a passion area for you professionally, as I've come to learn from you. So, but more broadly, you've really been critically involved in developing that space for us. So can you talk a little bit about what that has looked like for you in your career?
Yeah, so early on, even during my internship, I worked on a financial institution, and I really fell in love with the work and the team that BerryDunn had, working with Rob a lot at the time, and another one of our coworkers that you'll be hearing from later on, Jen. And so during that time, it got me into the financial institution realm, and then knowing that as financial institutions were continuing to grow, hit this $1 billion asset mark, we really saw the need for helping these institutions through this requirement on the financial institution FDICIA internal control over financial reporting audit that they had to now have. And so we did a lot of research. We're able to kind of research the FDICIA requirements, research the COSO framework is usually what their audit is performed under. And with that, able to really develop our own internal programs, checklists, matrices, and be able to offer this to others that are kind of working through this as they approach this asset requirement, and just being able to expand our services that we offer from that perspective.
That sounds awesome, Kaylyn. Thank you. It was so much fun getting to shine the spotlight on you today. Before we go, are you ready for a quick accounting joke?
Always.
Why are accountants always so calm, composed, and methodological?
Oh boy, I don't know.
They have strong internal controls.
Oh, that was a perfect one for today, Brooke.
Right? I thought so.
Oh my goodness. Well, on that note, thanks everyone for joining. Be on the lookout for more of your favorite professionals in the spotlight.